Thank you all for filling out that pre-exercise survey. That will be useful more toward the end of today's lesson as something that we can review to make sure that we covered anything you may have questions about or may not have been clear on. Now that the survey is finished, we're going to transition over into an exercise or activity with our small groups. You received your small group designation when you entered the classroom today, so if you would please take a moment or two to get situated with your small group. I'll give you that time to get comfortable, and then we'll begin the next activity. So now that you're in your small groups, we are going to just do a short group discussion. In this discussion with your small group, I'd like you to review any positive and negative customer service experiences you may have already had within your role as a member consultant. In your small group, I want you to share a positive experience that you've had and why you think you handled that situation successfully. And then also, if you have any negative experiences to share, now would be a great time to air those out, see if you have any common ground with other folks that are here, and brainstorm together ideas for what could be improved the next time a situation like that arises. We're going to take about 15 minutes for this time to share together in your small groups. And then after that sharing time, we'll transition into a different mindset where we'll start getting into the material for today. All right, it's time to wrap up those group discussions. I hope that you all found some situations that you could share that you were proud of, and then also work together as a team to come up with ideas to utilize next time you have a negative experience in the branches. Now we are going to move into what today is going to look like. So in this enhancing customer service experience lesson today, we have about 4 hours together. We will plan on having 2 10-minute breaks, one at 10:30 in the morning and one at 11:50 in the morning. That'll be a good time to use the bathroom, check your phone, stretch your legs. And then our class will conclude at 1 o'clock today, and then make sure that you all move into the other room to take advantage of that lunch that's been provided for today. And then now would be a good time for you to pull out that handout that you received whenever you entered the room today. That handout summarizes the bullet points that you'll see in our PowerPoint presentations. It will be a good tool for you to use to jot down any notes that you would like to take yourself for today. So in this lesson of customer experience, our objectives are that customer service, excellent customer service will be a major contribution to the loyalty that we see in members at BECU. If we provide excellent service, then it's more likely they'll be satisfied and they'll keep coming back. We have to remember the main mission of BECU is people helping people. And so it's really the customer service that's going to keep people coming back to the branches. Our next objective is strong communication. Your strong communication skills, specifically active listening skills, will be the greatest tool in your tool belt to really treat those customers with care. And the better you can listen, then the better you know how to handle situations. Our third objective is that problem-solving skills, the more we can enhance those problem-solving skills and really use that active learning, then the more likely it is we'll be able to make more effective product recommendations. You don't just have to memorize a cause and effect of this goes with this scenario. Today we'll be focusing on listening to people to find the best solutions and recommendations for them. And then our next objectives page here, we have handling customer complaints. This is not, we won't be just airing out our situations and telling our bad stories today. We'll actually be talking about how to effectively handle customer or member complaints and difficult situations using the skill sets of customer experience that we learned today. And then also how to personalize your customer service experience by using those active listening skills. So you know exactly what someone needs, and you're not just waiting for them to say it directly. And then our last training objective is really clarifying what your role as a member consultant is for business banking. We will have a guest speaker today who will lay out what the business department does and help clarify what you do within your role as a member consultant to really help our business banking members. And so that should be the end of our objectives. And if you wouldn't mind putting away those worksheets that you're jotting your notes down on, we are going to move back into our small groups. And in our small groups, we're going to do a more hands-on exercise before we're kind of stuck in our chairs for a little bit longer today. So if you'll move into your small groups, we are going to pass out these cards, and each group, your set of cards will say a customer service experience, and then we'll figure out how to deal with those situations. So please move into your small groups. All right, and now that we are in our smaller groups, we're going to do this body language charades. So on each set of cards, you'll see a customer service situation. One person will draw a card and will play the role of the member consultant, and you'll have the dialogue that you need to express to your member right on that card. And our other partner in this game will need to just decide how they want to respond to that scenario in the branch, but they're not going to respond to their member consultant with their words. Instead, you're only going to use your body language. And then our partner who is playing the role of the member consultant will share with the group exactly what they think just by reading body language their member was expressing to them. And so this is a good activity to help kind of open up active listening skills beyond listening. We'll be looking for body language cues that help identify how people are responding to us. And so on this slide up here, you'll see some things to look for when you're gauging people's body language. You can see their posture. Are they sitting upright? They're alert. They're really into the conversation. Or are they kind of slumped over and casual? That will let you gauge whether someone's really into what you're saying or if they are just hanging out, not really engaged. Another feature is eye contact. If you are talking to a member and they are making great eye contact, it's more likely they're listening to what you're saying, and they're really listening to you and they're trusting you. If their eye contact is all over the place, they're distracted, they're not totally retaining what you're saying, they may miss important information, and so you may need to re-engage them in some way to get that eye contact again. Facial expressions. This is the most fun part of charades. You can read in their facial expression whether they are happy with what you're saying, whether they disagree with what you're saying. Eyebrows are a huge indicator in the facial expressions. And then our fourth factor to look into is hand gestures. I'm obviously someone who talks with my hands like a Muppet. And so if I'm reacting to you like this, then I'm paying attention to you. I'm into it. But if I am not using my hands at all, then I may not really be vibing with what you're saying. Other folks may be really attentive and have their hands in a position where they're really attentive. And so that's just something to read into a individual themselves, is how you think their hands are playing a role in what they're doing. Are they nervous with what you're saying when you're talking about interest rates? Are they sitting on their hands? They're nervous. There's lots of things to do with your hands to notice. And then finally, tone of voice is another body language cue. We won't be using tone of voice in this exercise really, unless you want to throw in some since it's charades and we're not talking. But in the real world, you'll want to listen to someone's tone of voice to really kind of take in how they're responding to you. So we will have about 10 minutes for you all to go through this game of charades, reading your scenario to your member, reacting to your member consultant with your body language, and then all talking in your groups about what you saw in that body language and what you think that member's response is going to be to the scenario. And so we will finish this up at 10 o'clock before we move on to the next bit.